Hello, my name's Bev and I'm the author of the book Please Eat, A Mother's Struggle to Free Her Teenage Son from Anorexia, which describes our family's battle with the deadly eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, which my teenage son Ben developed back in 2009 when he was just 15 years old. This post is from the 7th of February 2011 and it's called The Road Gets Rocky. And I'll just make some comments on this. Thing about recovering from an eating disorder is that it's never going to be a straightforward process. The road does get rocky. You make massive progress and then you don't, and then you make massive progress again. So it's really is a case of a few steps forward, a few steps back, a few steps forward. But as long as you can ensure that the general trajectory is forward, even if it's very, very slow, which it is likely to be, then that is obviously a really good thing. But at the beginning of February 2011, the road was getting rocky. It was getting a bit tricky, and my son Ben was getting the feeling that he was treading water a bit. As I said before, his attitude had changed, but he was finding it really hard to put on weight, to control his exercise, and to sleep well. So here we are, the road gets rocky from the 7th of February 2011. Mood-wise, today is one of those days, as Ben miserably slouches around the house as the demon tries to muscle its way back in. I can always tell because some of the old familiar comments return, like, I feel as if I'm just living to eat, existing from one meal to the next, and I feel useless, and so on. All afternoon I felt my own old anxiety levels rising while trying to appear calm, positive, and in control. At least he's responding when I give him a cuddle. Often in the past, he'd just stand cold and emotionless, arms by his side. He also wants to help me cook tea, which in the old days meant checking and freaking out at the fat content going into the meal, so I'll be keeping a very watchful eye. And I need to query the list he's made of the food he's consumed today, because I'm not entirely convinced the calories all add up. Yesterday they did, by the way. It could just be me being paranoid, but it's definitely a rocky road day. It would be unrealistic to assume that on the journey to recovery there aren't glitches along the way. The trick is to keep your eye firmly on the ball all the time. Funny how I always recognise when it's the anorexia speaking and not the new, confident, positive Ben. But I'm always on the alert for the demon trying to muscle its way back in, as it's prone to do. The demon doesn't give up easily. One trigger could be that Ben has set himself a week of challenges. Every single meal is a challenge, starting with the fish and chips supper on Saturday, through to the creamy chicken stew with potato dauphinoise yesterday, and the sardine pasta today. Then tomorrow it's shepherd's pie with the dreaded, horribly high in fat lamb mince. And of course this week he's having to eat 100 extra calories every single day. Typically, all this has come on a day when I'm up to my eyeballs in work, and when my husband has finally received his redundancy notice. Oh well, no one ever said it would be an easy road, but you have to plough on regardless. As the parent of an anorexia sufferer, you can never give up, and each day is a new day, one more day towards recovery. That's the end of that entry, and I'll just add now that yes, at the beginning of 2011 my husband was made redundant, which was very tricky because it meant that I had to ramp up my own business to make sure that we had the money coming in. But the good news was that my husband had redundancy pay, and also it meant that he wasn't working away anymore. He was back at home, so that was good news. And also the fact was that he didn't remain out of work for very long, so that's also good news. So yeah, thank you for listening. And the next post it's still talking about how we were moving forward, but it was a case of, I don't know, let's say 1 step forward, 2 steps back at this particular stage in recovery. You'll find a link below to my blog, and you'll also find a link to my website where you can download free PDFs of my blog, and also a link to Amazon where you can buy a copy of my book.